Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bowhunt or Die. You know what? Things are finally starting to heat up in this episode. We've got a lot of great action and finally some arrows fly. Now, right now, as you can tell, Justin is not here with me. We got Tim Ainsworth here. I don't know if you've seen any sneak peeks on Facebook or anything like that, but Tim finally, and I shouldn't say finally, lets an arrow fly, but we're going to save those details for a little bit later. But right now, Justin's in Wyoming, and I know for a fact that he's hunting. Of course, as usual, I haven't heard anything, but what's going on here?
Well, Justin did text me. Yeah, we have this special connection, I guess,
clearly.
Something you guys
I've worked
don't
with him
have.
for 10 years, and I don't get a text, but good old Tim here gets a text.
Yep. From what I hear, he had a really close encounter on day one. And today, I guess, he came on a small buck but decided to pass. So.
All right, well, I don't have any tissues here right now, but I'm going to need some after the show. But one of the things we're going to try to work on this year is do things a little bit differently. You know, as guys throughout the season, you know, are successful, we're going to try to do a little bit better job at getting them in here on the show, whether we're going to use Skype. We got some things up our sleeves and do some things a little bit differently this year. But let's not waste any more time. We finally have got an arrow in flight in Wyoming. Tim's here to tell us a little bit more about the hunt when we get to that point. But right now, let's join Tim and Troy in Wyoming.
All right, it's Friday, August 14th, and we're here at the Denver airport. We just flew in from Chicago today. We got about a 2-hour layover before we hop on a little bit of smaller plane, and we're going to make our way to Gillette, Wyoming, where we're going to meet up with Dustin, the crew. He's going to come pick us up. We're going to head back to where we're staying around Buffalo, Wyoming. We're going to get the Matthews out, take some shots, get all dialed in, relax this evening, and this time tomorrow, or actually early tomorrow morning, we'll be up chasing our goats. Bowhunt or Die.
So I guess this is the beginning of the 2015 Bowhunt or Die season kickoff for the fall.
Is this fall?
Well, that's a good question. I consider it fall because that's like my favorite time of year, but technically it's still summer.
Look at that one.
On the tee box. And this one under the shade here.
Look at those things. Like pets. They move when you drive the cart by?
No, not usually.
We could have gone golfing and antelope hunting.
Yeah, this
You might have a better chance hitting them with a golf ball. There it is.
That's
the
just
first
number
one.
one.
There it is.
That's just the start. We're here. 10 hours of total travel time. We were all up and ready to go at 5. And 2 airplane rides and an hour drive here with our guide, good old Dusto. And we're finally here at our cozy abode. So let's step on out, stretch our legs, and see what we got. Hello and welcome to bowhunting.com Cribs Edition. Here we have our Troy and I's beautiful abode for the next 5 days. Looks to be about 150 square foot cozy cabin. We have 2 comfy beds, a nice microwave to cook those burritos late at night when we get the munchies. Refrigerator to keep our beverages nice and cool. Really nice bathroom here, nice and clean, showers, everything we should need.
You scrubbed them, right, Dusto? All right, so it's 6:30. We got everything unpacked. We got our bows out, and we're gonna take some shots here. We shipped our bows out this week, UPS. We didn't want to have to carry them on the planes when we flew out here, so we're gonna make sure that Tim did a good job packing them. They didn't get rattled around too much, that they're all dialed in. And then we're gonna have some dinner, relax, enjoy the other company that's here in camp, and then get some sleep. Hopefully, we're a little excited, but we're still going to try and get some sleep. And the next time you'll see us, we'll be sleepy-eyed, waking up in the morning, but we're pumped up. We're going to be getting in the blind and getting after some goats.
Top of the morning to you. It is 4:20, and we're headed to breakfast. Neither Troy or I slept very well last night. Too excited. Not to mention, it's like a meat freezer in here with the air conditioner. So we're gonna go grab a bite to eat and come back, get dressed, and head on out. Can't wait. Let's get this party started. Gate number 2, open and closed. Headed out to the blind here, gonna drop Don off. And then it's Troy and I's turn to find our abode for the next, 12 smoking hot hours. Trying out the hot boxing it. So stick with us, and the action should start soon.
There's our humble abode.
There's our abode. Okay, so it's a little after 7, and we're finally organized and settled in. We had a delicious breakfast this morning of bacon and pancakes, and then we headed down here to the ranch to get started. We already dropped Don off at his blind this morning, and as we were heading over the hill from his area to our water hole, we actually scared off 2 does, or a doe and 2 fawns. We've got 2 stealth cams set up on video mode, and Dustin tells us this area is kind of what he calls a bachelor area, a bachelor pad. Gets quite a few different bucks that visit this water hole regularly, so expectations are high. We ranged in all across the water hole itself. It's about a 25-yard shot across the water hole. Feeling comfortable, excited. We're actually on the exact spot where Don, Troy's dad, shot his really nice buck last year. So everything's looking up. We're excited. Let's settle in and enjoy this heat. Bow hunt or die. He's done. Troy spotted him coming over that hill, and they came in confident. I mean, they fed up a little in the sagebrush, and they came down. I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna get a 25-yard shot right there. No. Came all the way around, walked in front of the stealth cam, and got to, 8 yards.
Yeah.
And just came right here. He actually saw me, but Justin told us 8 yards and facing towards you, drive it through the shoulder. I think I made a great shot. I was thinking we're gonna sit here for hours. We're gonna sit here for hours waiting, and there you go. Now I get to, hopefully, God willing, we'll play a good shot. Switch spots here and get Troy one. Yeah, buddy. Woo! First antelope. Oh man. Let's go find that goat. Here's about the shot. We got our first drop of blood. Right at impact. Everything looks like blood. Right here.
How intent are you of following blood?
What's that?
How intent are you at following Bud?
Oh, why are we walking? All right, blood trail's over. Right there. Let's go get him. The tip. By no means an antelope expert, but I am more than happy with this animal. All right, guys, here he is. My first antelope ever. Absolutely beautiful animal. I've never been up close and actually seen them. They're absolutely gorgeous. So this animal here has really nice cutters, super high. You know, absolutely pleased. He's a beaut. Everything worked out just how we wanted it to. You know, right before, maybe a half hour before, Troy's giving me all of his expertise from last year, telling us, oh, they're gonna pop up over the hill, we're not gonna have any time to see them, and they're super jumpy and they're gonna avoid us. These two goats that came in did the exact opposite of what Troy said. They came on a rope right toward the water hole. Instead of giving us a 25-yard shot from across the water hole, came to 10 and just, I mean, gave me the perfect opportunity. Drove it through the front shoulder here just like Dustin told me to, and the animal went maybe 100 yards. So a great start to our weekend, and now it's Troy's turn. We're gonna get this guy in the back of Dustin's truck and get back in the blind, and hopefully we can get it done with Troy. Who knows, maybe a double on the first day. Bow hunt or die.
Well, Tim, congratulations to be the first bow hunter die staff to let an arrow fly in a big game animal like that. I mean, that was definitely looked like an exciting hunt. Tell us a little bit more. I mean, how was it?
It wasn't how I expected it at all. I mean, I figured we'd be sitting in the hot sun for hours. I mean, we literally sat down, got completely set up, got the camera gear set up. We look up over the horizon, and there's two goats coming right into us.
But you know what, Tim? I mean, but that, let's face it, that's hunting. You know what I mean? Let's face it, guys. I mean, there's those days when you climb up in the stand and you're like, oh my gosh, I can see my breath, it's cold, things are gonna happen. And you're like, oh, it's 12 p.m., I haven't seen a deer yet. You know, you just don't know how hunting's gonna pan out.
For sure, and even the goat came to 10 yards. We figured it would be 25 way out on the other side. I mean, you just never know. It's completely unpredictable,
well,
which is great.
There's no question about it. I mean, it looked like all your equipment performed beautifully. I mean, you made a great shot on that. I'm not going to sit here and beat you up too bad. He's a little bit bigger than I am. But, and I know your guide told you to do one thing. Guys, for me personally, those quartering towards shots, you know, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. I mean, they're just, if you're off a little bit and you do hit any shoulder blade, the shoulder bladers can absolutely deflect your arrow and you don't know where it's going to go. In this case, Tim was spot on. I mean, he was in front of that shoulder blade and he drove it right through the broiler room, and you could see with that footage, and we showed in slow motion, the antelope did not go far at all. It was awesome.
Yes, and on a whitetail, I would never do that. We did study the anatomy of the antelope, and we found that the shoulder blade, Dustin showed us that the shoulder blade was higher on the body and showed us exactly where we should make that shot. He said anywhere inside 10 yards, there'll be no problem in getting a pass through, and so.
Well, that's a fact. I mean, we saw that right here. Everything performed perfectly. I'm a little jealous because I got to tell you, I mean, anytime that you can get out and do a hunt prior to the whitetail hunts, I mean, you're just that much more dialed in. I mean, you know, obviously it looks like you got your Matthews tuned up and ready to go, beautiful. And it was a great hunt. Congratulations. Now, next up, we're going to jump in and see how Troy does. Let's do it.
All right, good morning. It is day 2, August 16th of our hunt here in Wyoming. We had a great day yesterday. Tim was able to put a nice antelope down, his first one ever, within an hour or so of us being out there. So then we spent the rest of the day trying to get me one and didn't see anything. So we're gonna head back to that same area today to start, but we have a doe tag too. So whatever comes in first most likely is gonna get a Carbon Express sent its way. We're just, the weather has definitely changed on us. Yesterday it got up to almost 100 degrees. We were cooking in the blind. Today I think it's a high of 70. So conditions are changing. I don't know what that's going to do to the antelope. We'll find out. But we're still going to be hunting over water and see if we can't get the job done this morning. Here we go. over 2 hours. We have not seen a goat yet. This water hole is tough. We can only see about 40 yards all around us, and then it falls off on all sides except for behind us. And so there could be goats out there. And maybe they're making their way, but it's just impossible for us to see if they're going to be on top of us before we know it. So all we've seen so far is a bunch of birds. Alright, so we're packing up. Dustin's just pulling up behind us. Sat all morning. Didn't see a thing. Neither did my dad, so time to move on. We're gonna go to another property, but at least we had some cheap entertainment. We had some snakes moving around through the watering hole. Anyways, had some entertainment. Now we're gonna head over to another property somewhere. Dustin's got an idea for us. He's gonna put us at the right spot this time. We're driving up here. There's a goat bedded down in this little gut right here. We're perfectly downwind of him. We should be able to get within 25 yards. The weird thing is, it looked like his head was down. We're hoping he's not dead. Alright, we gotta do this. Can't watch this suffering. Ready?
Yep.
Well, we're coming back to go pick up my father at a blind. And we're gonna head to another property. It's in a whole different area. We have a different tag for that area, so I actually have a tag for this property or this area, a buck tag, and we were driving up to go get my dad, and I just happened to look off to the right, and I saw this antelope laying down in this ditch here. So we drove to the top of the hill and then did a stalk. But I mean, as you guys saw, Dustin was able to walk up within 5 yards of it, and it just wasn't running. So obviously it was sick, and even though this isn't, you know, the size that I was looking for, but we just could not leave this animal suffer. And I don't know if, I mean, not really sure what happened.
No, I mean, from looking at, you know, bleeding out the back end, the interstate's really not that far. It's not uncommon for antelope to get whacked on the interstate, but it looks like he got bumped and just kind of walked up the draw. Looks like it happened last night, but when he got up, you can tell he's bleeding internally. So this is one of those unfortunate deals, you know, that happens. And fortunately, we were in a position where, you know, Troy was able to take care of him and, you know, kind of put him down. Not that you ever want to have that happen, but Troy definitely made the right decision to do that.
Yeah, we have 2.5 more days and we can get back out on this property. There's some bucks here. I mean, now I can't come back out here and shoot a bigger one, but that's not what we're about. See an animal like this suffering, we don't want to see that. So I'll happily spend the money and the tag to put this one out of suffering, and we'll be able to go and enjoy his meat. So just an unfortunate thing, but it happens, right? So we're just glad to be able to put it down.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I was watching that footage, I'm going, what is wrong with this pronghorn? I mean, I need my animals to do that, holy moly. But, I mean, clearly he was wounded, he was mortally wounded, that animal was gonna die. And man, I give it to Troy for doing what he did for sure. You know what, I mean, definitely, he had the ability to buy another tag, he shot that antelope, and I mean, you told me you guys even ate it that night.
Yeah, you know, once we got back and Dustin had them skinned out, we took out the back straps, threw it on the grill, and they were absolutely delicious. But, you know, after watching the footage, you know, it's sad seeing it on the footage there, but when you're at the scene, it was devastating, and I give props to Troy for, you know, taking that animal and putting him out of his misery.
Well, let's go back with Troy and see how he does with his second tag.
Bucks bedded out in front of us. Still just over 100 yards. None of them are shooters. Bad luck continues. I mean, we've done everything, trying to spot and stalk. We left one of these blinds to go spot and stalk, and as we were leaving, you know, a buck comes cruising in. So, because my dad was hunting this area and saw it. So I just had a tough go of it, but what you're gonna do is been a blast. Dustin and Rich have been great. This is just awesome. Until next time, or until fall, bow hunt or die.
Well, clearly, Tim, it just wasn't going to be Troy's year this year. I mean, obviously, by the footage, I mean, you guys gave it everything you had for sure, but just couldn't get anything done.
Troy had a great time too, and we talked about it afterwards. I mean, it was an awesome experience. I mean, to be out west, a place I'd never been before. Troy's been there once, but he loves it out there. I know both of us had an absolute fantastic time, and regardless of whether he harvested an animal or not, I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about there's something special about Wyoming. I mean, you know, there's no doubt. I mean, you get out there, it's completely different than what we're used to around here. I mean, it's definitely, there's no concrete jungle as much compared to what we live in around here. And I mean, just, you see a lot more animals. I mean, it's just, it is just, if you haven't been to Wyoming, it's definitely something to put on your bucket list for sure. Absolutely. Because it is a great place. But next up, you know, one of the things we've been trying to do this year in the show, guys, is we've got a lot of pro staff out there. They're all working hard, and you know what? We all know that deer season is right around the corner. So we want to jump here with Mike Fitzgerald up in northern Minnesota, Ely to be specific, and a completely different type of hunting terrain there. Let's see the deer that he's going to be chasing this fall.
Hey everybody, Fitz here checking in from northern Minnesota. Today I just wanted to take some time to tell you a little bit about the area that I hunt and then run through my hit list. I'm up here near Ely, Minnesota. I'm about 14 miles from the Canadian border, so I'm up there a ways. The area that I hunt is big woods. We don't have crops for miles and miles and miles. It's big woods at its finest. A lot of lakes around, swamps, beaver dams and creeks that help produce some funnels, and then we have a lot of Canadian Shield ridge tops like I'm sitting on today. It's a rugged area, but it's beautiful. It's one of the areas of our state that has the lowest deer densities, but we can still grow some really big deer up here. In addition to deer, I'm hoping to maybe get some footage of moose. We got a lot of wolves running around up here, and there's a variety. You never really know what's going to step out of the woods. I hunt a mixture of public and private land. We got about 60 acres that I hunt that's private, but there's a couple thousand acres of public land that I'm real close to, and that's where I spend the majority of my time. Probably 80% of the time I'm on public land. A lot of times I'm running and gunning with my lone wolf setup. I use my canoe to cross our lake and access some of these hunting locations and stand sites. It offers a quiet and scent-free a way for me to get to the stand. It's a unique area, and I'm really excited to bring something different to the team. It's tough, not gonna lie. There's not a lot of bucks running around, but come October, there's a bunch of does, and there's gonna be something chasing them around. So I'm going into the season cautiously optimistic. I have really only one buck on my hit list right now. There's a number of younger bucks running around that we've gotten photos of last year and into this spring, but I don't really have a history, enough of a history with any of them to put them on my list. But the one deer that we do have on the list is Buster. He's a mainframe 10-point. This is a shed of his from last year that one of our neighbor's dog actually found. He's not really that wide, but he's super tall. Some of the angles on the trail camera pictures you get of him, like if his head's down and he's facing you, he doesn't look that impressive, but then he'll stand up and give you that profile, and he'll make your jaw drop. He's a huge-bodied deer. I think he's 6.5 years old this year. I've been following him. We got trail camera pictures of him dating back to 2011. Late in that season, he had busted off his main beam above one of his brow tines, and in that fight, he had split his ear. So he's been pretty easy to track throughout the years, just following him around using that ear notch to identify him. I think he's put on some mass finally this year. We had a fairly mild winter that I think helped to attribute that to, and I think he's even taller this year than he was last year. He's a difficult deer to hunt because he's a vampire. He's really only coming out at night. Out of the hundreds of photos that we have of him, I think there's only 2 series that we have in daylight. The rest are all at night. So I'm really looking forward to him in October, maybe starting to get out of his normal pattern and make a mistake chasing after some does. So that's my main hope for him this year. But there's a bunch of deer around, and you never really know what's going to step out of the woods up here. Even though there aren't crops and food plots around here, these deer can grow some big bodies and massive racks on just the woody browse that they're having. I'm very much looking forward to trying to catch some moose and wolves on film for you guys too. It's such a different area up here, and I'm hoping that I can give you guys a taste of the rugged beauty that we have up here in northern Minnesota. So stay tuned with me this summer and into this fall, and hopefully I'll get some good footage for you guys. I'm in a buck-only zone this year, so I got one tag to burn, and that's it. We'll see how patient I am when a smaller buck comes through. I don't know. I don't like to make predictions or set myself up for disappointment. If a deer walks in and I look in the situation, my heart starts pumping and I get excited, I'm going to shoot that deer. Hopefully, Buster here will cooperate, but who knows what's going to go down this season. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll get something on film for you guys. Bowhunt or die.
You know, Tim, I actually went up to Mike Fitzgerald's place this year with my son and my father-in-law. We did a little fishing and checked out his terrain up there. And I mean, it's funny because, you know, down here, at least where we are, we don't think about wolves. I mean, I actually took my son to the International Wolf, I don't know, museum or center, whatever they call it up there. And I mean, we actually were there on feeding day. I think it was cool. Saturday evening when they bring in a deer and they basically just eat this whole deer in front of you. It's pretty,
cool.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty interesting. But totally different terrain up there for sure. So definitely something I can't relate to. I mean, I don't have a chance to use canoes and do some of that stuff. But
yeah, I mean, talk about Wyoming being beautiful country. Northern Minnesota is the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, just a great place. So it's gonna be fun to see how Mike does this fall. But next up, we're gonna join actually myself and Justin as we've got a new lease that we got through the Hunting Lease Network. We're gonna dive on that piece of property and see what we find. Well, it is the end of August. We finally got a nice cool front weather. It blew in here. It feels great, Justin. I mean, I actually got long sleeves on. I don't know if this is poison ivy protection or if this is me enjoying the cool weather, but here we go. We got a new lease here, and we're gonna get in here and hang a couple sets is the goal.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like Todd said, a brand new lease. Just got this one actually through the guys at Hunting Lease Network. So this is our very first time ever stepping foot on this piece of property. We've never been on it once in our lives. So we're gonna do a little walking around. We kind of looked at some aerial maps before we came out. Kind of have an idea what we want to do.
It's a hike up here.
It is, oh yeah, it's a heck of a hike up.
I got a little bit of
a good morning workout.
It is, very good
So,
morning workout. So let's get in here and get these stands hung and roll. We got a lot of work to do today.
Come on guys, let's do it. All right, guys, well, we're still looking for spot number 2 to hang a stand. But, you know, one thing we did find, you know, just kind of walking through here is, you know, we've got a cornfield that we're about maybe 15, 20 yards in off the edge of this cornfield. And there's a good trail that runs this edge right here. And I've seen this over and over the years where these bucks like to run just inside the field edge. They don't always like to be out in the cover, or I'm sorry, out of the cover in the open. Just because they feel more protected here in the woods. So what they could do is they can run this parallel to the field edge. They can check this field if there's any does out there, and then they'll go out if they see a doe or another buck or a deer out there, but they're not just gonna randomly be out in the middle of a cut cornfield for no reason. But one thing we did find here is a licking branch off of an old scrape. I mean, you really, this time of year, you're not gonna see a ground scrape because you've got foliage and stuff that's growing up through it over the summer. But when you find these licking branches, I mean, I can see the end of this thing is bit off and twisted off. Obviously it's broke and just hanging here. It's right at the perfect height. So I mean, I got to imagine at some point in time a buck was cruising this trail. There's another one that heads up the hill right here, so it's a good spot where these trails meet. And there's definitely a scrape here, but if you're looking for a spot to put a trail camera or potentially start a mock scrape or use a mock scrape lure, looking for this type of stuff really is key to the success of that. So there's definitely deer in here. We've seen a lot of deer tracks. Starting to see some scrapes. We just got to figure out where we're going to put our stand in order to kill a deer. So I like this area. Right back up this hill, but see what Todd thinks. It smells like pre-orbital secretions. Probably a 4-year-old, maybe 5. Hard to tell.
Okay, you can see I got Justin working behind us here. We've decided on this tree here. It is skinnier than what Justin wanted, but because of the lack of time that we have today, we want to keep this basically pretty simple. We want to be able to catch these deer that are coming from the bottom up. We're going to call this our morning stand. We've got a good bedding area behind us. We definitely have a good bedding area further back over there. Some great trails, some fresh acorns falling. I mean, there's not a ton of sign here, but again, it's a new piece of property. We want to put ourselves into a situation where we can get the stand in, have a good view, have a pretty easy lanes to clear, get a census of the property after a hunt or two, and move if you have to. But this is where we're going to start off right here. So we're hoping to be out of here in a half an hour, get the other one up, and keep moving. So join us. We got our new stand hung here. This is definitely going to be a good spot. Justin and I both like it. I mean, it's ideal morning stand, catching these bucks, coming from the bottom up to bed. I mean, we've got great shooting. I mean, some of the things that Justin and I look for in a good set, number one is visibility, seeing the bucks before they're on top of you. We definitely have that here, but yet at the same time, being where they're going to come. You can't really see it right here, but we'll put a map up. We got a little V here, which kind of directs them right up here. We got a hole in the fence over here, a hole in the fence behind us. There's trails on both sides of us here. I mean, this is an ideal spot. As far as the self-filming goes, camera arm will be sitting right here. I want to be able to have that whole right-hand side to be able to shoot very easily. I stand up like this, camera sitting there. I'm basically ready to go. I can see my camera and I got all good shooting all through here. This set right here is going to be proven deadly. I just can tell. Question is, who's going to sit here first, Justin or me? To wait to see. I like it. All right, this is going to be set number 2 here. What we're trying to do here is ambush these deer as they come out of these woods to the left and they come out in front of us. This is really a sweet spot for a south wind. We're gonna definitely leave a trail camera behind it over here somewhere. We got corn off to the right. We're gonna be parking down below, so this should be absolutely perfect for us to be able to slip up from the bottom, get into the stand. We got a great crossing here, so should be good. Let's get this baby hung. Woo, it's starting to get hot, guys, but this particular spot here, I'm really excited about. I've got a super big buck that I've been seeing in here. I'm calling him Beamer. He's got an extra beam growing out of his head. I've got actually a tree picked out behind me here. I've been getting some good pictures here on the stealth cam. It seems like he's coming out of the switchgrass patch here and this finger behind me. So I'm hoping on a south wind to be able to intercept them. There's a tree right behind me about 40 yards, which I think is gonna be just perfect. We just scoped it out. We also went to another property this morning. We hung a couple other sets, so we've got that place all dialed in. Right now, it's just a matter of time. You know what? It's the point now where you gotta let your trail cameras do the work, stay out of the woods, come back, get your intel, and start making the best choices you can for the wins that we get. So it's only about a month out now, guys, and we'll be sitting in the stand.
You know what, Todd? It's good to see you and Justin together, besides behind this desk. Even though he doesn't text you on his trips out to Wyoming.
Here we go.
You know, it's good to see you guys spending some time together bonding.
I know. I need Kleenex, but it's okay. Hey, you know what? We did have a good time. We've got a new farm that we're going to be hunting there together. We got a couple stands up, and you know, we really don't have any data from that farm at all. So we're just going to have to wait to see what we have. It's always fun anytime to step foot on a new piece of ground, that's for sure. But listen, next up, we're going to join Kent and Dalton. They've got some slammer bucks. I mean, they really do. So let's not talk any more about that, and let's see what they're going to be chasing this fall.
Kent here with bowhunting.com, and Dalton in the background there hanging a pink stripper, putting a stealth cam on it. Just looking at our bean plot here, and we were stick and picking a stealth cam up on it, see what kind of deer are feeding through here. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of our hit list bucks for this year. We're on Dalton's farm right now, and in a minute he'll be up here and he'll tell you about the hit list bucks he's got here. But a little farther south of here on some of my farms, we've got a bunch of bucks this year, and I'm terrible with names, so I'm just going to give you some of my top ones I'm really going to be after this year. And just acquired a new farm this year and only ran a trail camera for a week. And the first picture I actually got was this tall 8-pointer. He's not very wide, but he's tall. And we're just going to call him Rex. He's a nice looking deer. I like them tight framed, tall deer, so I'm really going to go after him this year. Another deer I'm after is maybe on hit list footage last year, you might have seen the deer I was after. His name's Jimmy. I never had an opportunity at him during the season, but he's back. He's camera shy this year. I've only got one picture of him, and he's walking away, and it was earlier this year, but you can tell it's him. So hung a few more stealth cams out there today, actually, try and get some better angles of him, but really going to be hunting him hard this year. A deer that I've been after for probably 3 years now. He's nothing special, but we call him Ocho. I actually passed him 2 years ago. I don't know why. It's been like upper 120s, maybe 130 past couple years. This year he did not grow much at all. He might go mid 130s. I don't know, but he's an old deer. We know that for a fact. He split on his G2 and got another abnormal point around his base. But going to be going after him, and he is very patternable. He has been coming in the food plot, daylight hours, past 3 years. So really going to go after him, maybe get him down early this year. But as soon as Dalton's done hanging that Tink stripper, he'll be up here to tell you about some of his good bucks he's got this year. So, Bowhunt or die, baby.
As you saw on Kent's portion of the hit list, I just got done hanging that Tink stripper back there and putting the stealth cam on it. This farm here has got a multitude of shooters. The top 3 on the property right now are a deer that one of them we call Steve the Pirate because he is blind in one eye. He's a giant split G2 10 point. He's a good deer that we've had past encounters with. There's also Justin. I'm not calling him Justin because of the co-host Justin Todd, but he's just 10 points. And he's also a big deer, probably go in the 60s this year. Turn the camera around right there on the corner of the driveway. Well, after I was so rudely interrupted by that deer walking across there, like I said, we got Justin. He's just 10 points. He's going to be a good deer. He's definitely a shooter. And then the big boy, Zeus. I can't tell for sure if I have a history with this deer or not. He's definitely an old buck. One of the neighbors down the road here has some summer pictures of him for a couple years. I'd say he's a 5-year-old, but he's super wide, 10 point, little crabby 10 kind of. His G4s are short, but he's framey, and that's the kind of deer I like. So we'll definitely be after him. And then one of our other leases, actually my dad's farm, we've got a deer we call Duke. We had him last year. He was an 8 point with some kickers on his bases. Now this farm has produced a deer that went in the 230s in the past, so we have high hopes for the deer coming up into future seasons that we could have potentially another giant, and this deer definitely fits the bill. He's a 4-year-old this year. Still a mainframe 8, got a double G3 on one side and a long kicker. Good main beams. Hopefully we can get on him and get him killed, but if he makes it through rifle season, I think I'm going to leave him alone and see what he turns into next year, because if he makes a jump like he did from 3 to 4, from 4 to 5, he'll be a booner. Not a deer that I can let walk by right now though. And then we've got Dreads on another farm just south of that one. Strange rack, just not a typical looking deer, and we kind of like that, that not typical look. So we're going to be after him. He might be number 1 right now just because of that. He's a little goofy looking, but so. Anyway, we have a multitude of other shooters that have showed up on these farms that are 4 years or older, and we will be chasing them as well. The deer we told you about are our top 8 or 9 bucks that we'll be chasing in the 2015 season. We hope to see you guys soon. We'll throw in some pictures of the other deer here at the end just to give you guys something to look at. They're good bucks, just nothing stands out about them as much as these other ones. So until we see you again, hopefully sometime in September, Bowhunt or die, baby.
Boy, those guys down in Missouri have some real giants, don't they?
There is no question about it. I mean, we've got the footage here, guys. You witnessed it right here with us. I mean, we're going to have to see if they can hold to their word and let a couple of those bucks go that they said they were going to let go. But I'll tell you what, from what I saw,
Plenty to choose from.
and I don't know how many of those I would let go.
It's true.
But listen, with that being said, we want to thank the people who sent in their trophy photos. Cody Bryce,
Jordan Dial,
Kyle Dodds.
Weston Leonard.
Hey guys, those are some great trophies. If you'd like to see yourself right here on another episode of Bowhunt or Die, make sure you submit them on our website, bowhunting.com, or of course our Facebook page. Now, before we go, I mean, we have got only a few weeks left here. Deer season's gonna open up. I know for a fact, I was out in the woods today hanging a few sets in Wisconsin. Whew, acorns everywhere. Guys, for those of you that are hunting Wisconsin, I mean, I couldn't believe how many acorns, you know, actually it's going to be a problem because they're like everywhere. So, I don't know, I'm going to bail on beans, bail on corn, and I'm finding the best acorn spot I can find. That's where I'm going to be here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, acorns are where I shot Tommy Boy last year on the second weekend of Illinois opener. So, definitely be on the acorns. We haven't found them yet, though, so you're a step ahead of us.
Okay, well, I got acorns in Wisconsin. He's not hunting in Wisconsin. He's hunting in Illinois, so he's going to have to keep looking. But otherwise, until then, get your bows out, start shooting, get ready, get your stands hung, stop wasting any time, guys, because before you know it, the season's going to be here. For more exciting action, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and receive live updates from our team members as well as the latest happenings in the bow hunting and archery world. Be sure to share your photos, stories, and experiences as well. And don't forget to pick up your official bowhunting.com and Bowhunt or Die gear by visiting bowhunting.com/gear. We have a full selection of hats, shirts, decals, wristbands, and much more.
Get your shaved legs off there. You're going to get a splinter. Boots and shorts. How do you like me now, Justin?
Yeah.
It's like the goo. Yeah. Only it's Hershey goo. It's a Hershey squirt.